Well, today, 7 Indiana broadcasters are being recognized for their contributions to the industry as they're inducted into the Indiana Broadcast Pioneers Hall of Fame. Among those receiving the honor today is former Eyewitness News news director Bob Freeman. Bob spent more than 20 years in the Evansville television market as a news director. Our chief photographer John Simpson sat down with Bob to reflect on his career.
Up the Friday morning drive and getting ready for the holiday weekend, and the award is from the Indiana Broadcasters Association, and it's the Pioneer Hall of Fame. So expect delays. It's overwhelming, because you think back and you go, wow. I mean, someone thinks enough of, me and what I've done over the years to say, this guy needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Work on Kentucky. I was a news director in Evansville, Indiana for 21 years. It was exactly 21 years. That's the longest anyone has ever been a news director in Evansville. It's like, I want to be a director. I want to be the guy that says, camera 1, go here. Camera 2, do this. Roll that. So I'm coming into work, and this program director says, Bobby, you want to do the news? And I said, I don't know anything about news. I want to be a director. He said, well, yeah. He said, I think you'd be good. Let's give it a try. That's how it started. The tornadoes. We have so many tornadoes in this area. Always been amazed at people here in the tri-state about how when tragedy strikes, they rise up. They rise up, and there's always a helping hand with people helping people. And from a news standpoint, that's the kind of stories that I think our viewers want to see. They understand that there's going to be bad news, but they want the good news that comes with it. And oftentimes, there is good news that comes out of bad news. We found a guy who his house blown away, and he survived it. And we did a story with him. He was playing a piano, sitting amidst the rubble of his house. One story that I remember, the church bombing in Birmingham. 4 young black girls were killed with a bomb that was placed there by some members of the Ku Klux Klan. The guy that did it, that was many years later charged and convicted of that bombing, his name was Robert Chambliss, and everyone knew him as Dynamite Bob. I was 8 years old. Never ever did I think that I would grow to cover Dynamite Bob's trial, and 20 years later to produce a special on that anniversary, the 20th anniversary, and as part of that special, I got the one and only interview that Dynamite Bob ever did in prison. And I remember talking to Dynamite Bob about, what he was accused of, and he looked me in the eye and he said, I didn't blow up that expletive church. You got that? Never forget it.
The street people come here on cool or cold nights seeking warmth from air vents on the side of the building here.
The deadline pressure is always there. But, you reach a point when you're on that side of the deadline pressure where, you've got to get on the air, you got to get on the air, you got to get that, that news on the air. It gets the adrenaline pumping, and that's good. I like that, because with me, the itch that, of doing news, it never left, and I still have it. And this helps me scratch that itch. I'm enjoying it. Bob Freeman, WIKY Traffic Watch.
Congratulations, Bob, a true Hall of Famer.